What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we get to celebrate PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale's 10-year anniversary. Holy God. I have a lot to say. I want to kind of go through my journey with this game, talk about just how good I think this game is, a phenomenal game, and talk about, of course, where we're at right now. Now, it's funny how things line up, right? Because 10 years today was when the game came out, and almost 10 years, I mean, God of War Ragnarok almost did it, right? There's the thing kind of popping off on YouTube, on Twitter, where they bring it up. They actually mention, Mimir asks Kratos if the idea of him battling Sly and Sir Daniel and all these characters, was that a real story? And Kratos talks about, you know, he doesn't want to talk about it. And it's so perfect. And basically it makes PlayStation All-Stars canon in the God of War universe. So I'm very happy about that. But this is a very special game. I've always looked to this game as one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's one of the most underrated PS3 games of all time. I mean, it would make so many rankings for me. But it's also, I really do believe it's my favorite brawler. I've never been so high on like the Smash Bros, so it's kind of an unfair thing. It's not like I was a diehard with that first, then I went into PlayStation, and yeah, it was a copy of it. But you know what? Modern day, and that's why it should come back, all we're doing is taken from Smash Bros. And make multiverses. All these games just steal. It's fine. In fact, PlayStation All-Stars would work so well now. It was ahead of its time, in other words, back in 2012. All right, so the game came out, right? And leading into this game, oh my God, I was pumped. And I really didn't play these kind of games. Again, I was not into Smash Bros. At all. So going in, I was like, oh my God, my favorite PlayStation characters all coming together. And personally, I like the gameplay style, how they use like their ultimate moves, and that's how you take out people and you get points and stuff. I love that. I love that idea. I think it works actually really well. So the game came out, and I went back and looked. So the game came out on a Tuesday. 10 years ago was actually a Tuesday. Thanksgiving was a Thursday. So I got it that year. Now, 10 years ago, I would have been 16. I got it, I think, for Christmas, okay? My parents got it for me for Christmas. And on Thanksgiving, my cousin Tyler came over, along with, you know, the family. And I've never done this before. I guess I was a good little boy growing up into a teenager and all that. When I got Christmas gifts, like, you know, I never really sought them out. I never tried to, like, look, you know, in my parents' room to find them. And on top of that, I never asked for them early, ever. Like, you know, not a month early, not even a day early. Like, I waited for Christmas. So that day, though, my cousin Tyler and I would talk about this game all the time, and I asked my dad on Thanksgiving Day, I was like, hey, you know, that game you got me 2 days ago, like, we've been looking forward to it for so much, like, this is Thanksgiving, like, can we play it? And so he gave it to me. So I actually unwrapped it, right, because of the plastic wrap. I unwrapped it, and we played it, and then I gave it back. Like, we played it for a few hours. It was actually quite a while. It was like 3-4 hours probably in all we played it. And then once we were done and once they left, I gave the, you know, the disc and the case back to my dad, and I didn't have the game again till Christmas, but I played it that one day, and I loved it to death. I mean, like I said, we played it for so many hours, and then once I got it, I mean, we played it a lot more, you know, going forward as well. I became a god at that game. I've talked about it before. My skill level with games, I guess, depends on the game. Puzzle games upset me because I'm not all that smart up here with kind of seeing what the developer wants me to see. And really, fighting games I'm not good at either, like Mortal Kombat. Smash Bros. I can get okay, like if I find a character I like. But PlayStation All-Stars, I mean, any character. Once I kind of understood their moves, I was dominant. Sly Cooper, holy Jesus, I was good. You know, Sweet Tooth, Nathan Drake, all of these characters I was so good at. But really, again, like, I can't overstate that I really think things worked. I mean, the maps were awesome. The story mode was cool, like these little stories of these characters literally kind of being pulled into the multiverse. Again, it works so well now. Like, people are not stealing PlayStation All-Stars' ideas, but if PlayStation All-Stars released like a year and a half ago, I think it would have been received so much better than it was back then. Because back then it was a clone, it was PlayStation, which you could still say Multiverses is Warner Bros. Smash Bros. Clone. It just is. But I feel like people cared about that more, and it was an issue. It was a negative, an active negative on your game 10 years ago. Way more of a negative. Now, you mention it. We all know where these games came from. We know they're stealing from each other. Nickelodeon, that's another one. But it doesn't matter because you're having all these franchises that you care about, and they're all coming together to battle each other. And there's something really, really cool about that. So I love the game to death. I got super good at the characters. I played multiplayer. I played on my own. I don't know if I platinumed it. I feel like maybe I platinumed it, but I was god tier, at this game. I really enjoyed it. I got all the DLCs. Now I don't think there was that. Maybe like there was 2 in all, 2 packs, which came with multiple characters. Like I know Cat from Gravity Rush was one of them. Zeus was one of them. There was a few others, and I got all of those, and I loved it to death. Now, of course, for those that maybe didn't know, the behind-the-scenes story is like Sony. I don't know if Sony assembled a team, but a team was assembled to make this game from veterans all over. Like the entire team was built of fighting veterans, people that have done this stuff for their entire lives, and they formed a team. They made the game. Game came out, and it sold pathetically. I think it sold around 2 to 3 million. Pathetically, it's kind of subjective. It depends on what Sony thinks, if it sold well, right? It sold okay, but it sold really bad for them. So not only, right? Firstly, I think there was more DLC planned. I'm pretty sure Crash was teased at some point, whether that was kind of a fantasy or whether that could have actually happened. I do think Crash was teased, and, I think there were more DLCs planned, and I don't think you create a studio, make a fighting game, and then plan to shut the studio down. I think you probably want to make more games anyway, and the studio was shut down. So it really was a gigantic failure. I mean, I would honestly argue that. Well, I love the game, and it's kind of achieved this cult-like status that you can still make videos on it today, and people will watch because I really think it was special to a lot of people, and I'm truly not messing with you when I say it's my favorite, brawler-type game. I love it. I love the mechanics. I thought it was tight. I thought each characters felt different. They had their own personality, not just in their, their actors and stuff, but also how they fought. I thought they all fought fantastic, and you really could get good with each of them, and, were there maybe balancing issues? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I felt really powerful with some characters, but I also felt good as them. Like, I knew what I was doing. With Sly, I knew every single attack. I knew what I wanted to do to the other opponent. I feel like that's how these games work. Now, of course, maybe there were some balancing issues back in the day. I didn't know about it, but I thought it worked really well. And I remember, like, I was, I didn't have a channel or anything, but I was around the internet, and I remember knowing the studio shut down. I remember knowing, I guess before that, I remember knowing DLCs were coming for this game. I remember the whole thing, and then the studio was shut down. I was like, gosh darn it, like, this was a really cool game, and it was Sony's their jab at this, and I guess it catastrophically failed. But I really believe one day, I don't know, like, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, that name, I don't know if that name would ever come back, right? But I just think, I mean, we're literally living in the era of these, Smash Bros, being back in 2018 when it came out, that really, that was like the biggest thing on planet Earth, and they supported that forever. And then you have Nickelodeon and multiverses and all these games. Like, what is stopping you, PlayStation? Maybe you don't have to remake it because it is only 10 years old. I think it still honestly holds up. Remaster it, get it back out there, open the servers back up, let people play it. Now, of course, you also have the allure because there's been more icons in PlayStation. This was right before. This was November, and then the following June was The Last of Us, and now we have Spider-Man. And so you had Joel and Ellie. You have Spider-Man. You have Crash Bandicoot back. Now the Activision thing may make that kind of difficult to do. You have Spyro back. The Activision thing may make that difficult to do, but you have more. You definitely have more. You could include more, and I do think there is that allure that it's like, well, the PlayStation brand has expanded since you did that game. You could have a full-on sequel with the same. Now, like Smash Bros, you will run into issues because not all the time, or even Mortal Kombat does this, you don't always bring back every single character. So, like, do you drop some of them? But, well, I don't know. I think all the characters were kind of needed. But there was, like, wasn't there the light and dark Cole? So, like, something like that is definitely not necessary. You only have to pick one of them. Things like that. But beyond that, don't drop Sir Daniel. Don't drop, like, Fat Princess. Don't drop the, like, they're so cool. Parappa the Rapper obviously has to survive. Like, these people have to make the cuts. Sly Cooper, I swear to God, if you were to get rid of him, I'd be very upset. So, yeah, I mean, I love this game to death. I really do. I don't, you know, like I'm very modern. I don't love that about myself, to be honest with you. But you know, I try to keep up on the news and I keep up on new games. And you know, I got the PS5 over there and the Series X, and my daughter has the Xbox One in her room. I still have a PS3, but like I haven't touched the PS3 arguably since the PS4 came out. I have the PS4 as well. I want to go back. And also, like, the fact that you can't play this game, I believe, maybe I shouldn't go too far into it. I don't think this game is on PlayStation Plus in the where you can like stream it. I don't think it's on there. That's a shame. That is a shame. Well, firstly, it's a shame that you can only stream. You can't download PS3 games on PlayStation Plus. That's the first issue. Well, the second issue is that game is not on there because it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal game, and I from time to time I think about you know going back and playing the game. I gotta find the PS3, gotta hook the thing up, gotta insert the disc. I hope it still runs, for the love of God, right? But man, oh man, 10 years goes by fast, guys. Trust me, because I remember it. I mean, I was only 16. Which is young, but it's not that young. It wasn't like I was like 6 and my memory was like kind of fuzzy, like when I played Crash, you know, Team Racing back in the day, or Crash Bash. This one I can remember the lead up, and it was special. It really was special because I do remember like they got it for me for Christmas, and I never asked. I never did that growing up, and I didn't after either. And I was like, hey, Tyler's here. Like, we want to play it. We've been talking about it forever. Like, you know, I'll give it back. We'll play it tonight, and I'm not asking for it early to play it the next month. We'll just play it tonight, and then I'll give the game back to you, and you can wrap it, you know, for Christmas. And they let me do it, and I had a blast. That's maybe my favorite Thanksgiving of all time. I gotta be real. I really have to be real on that. Maybe that's sad. Maybe it's not sad. Let me know what you guys think. Do you remember the icon that was PlayStation All-Stars? Do you think it would work now? Easy answer is, of course, yes. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, all that good stuff. If you want to follow or support me anywhere else, all my social media is in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.